Following the signing of central defender Tosin Adarabioyo, Chelsea are now trying to strengthen their attack. The Blues are said to be interested in both Aston Villa's John Duran and Crystal Palace's Michael Olise. Fabrizio Romano recently claimed that Chelsea are going to make a decision on Duran soon. As for Olise, it has been reported that the Blues are willing to offer players in a swap deal for the winger. Chelsea's attack did pretty well last season, especially compared to the 2022-23 campaign. In the Premier League, the team managed to score 77 goals. The season before, they only netted on 38 occasions. Nevertheless, Chelsea still look keen on adding to their attack, which makes sense given that they are a bit light up front after finishing last term, with Nicholas Jackson as their only recognised striker. According to journalist Simon Phillips, though, they may pull out of the deal for Duran. On Substack, Phillips wrote, SPTC sources have heard Chelsea are preparing to move on from the John Duran deal after 0 advancements today, Monday. Not moved on yet, and still tentative talks. There could still be an agreement reached, we must be clear with that, but Chelsea closer now to walking away and turning to another target. Villa reportedly want £40 million for Duran. It is a lot of money for a 20-year-old, who only made 3 appearances in the English top flight last season. Chelsea already have Armando Broja and David Dartro Fofana, who are not too much older than the Colombian, who has been hailed as a special player by his current manager Unai Emery. Fofana scored 4 goals in 15 Premier League appearances in the 2023-24 campaign, 1 fewer than Duran, and only cost £10 million, which is significantly lower than the Villa striker's price tag. The 21-year-old did make more starts, but if Chelsea are only looking for an alternative to Jackson rather than an upgrade, then it may be worth just keeping him around instead of spending £40 million on someone like Duran. It will be interesting to see how they perform against City this time, with Cole Palmer again likely having a point to prove against the side who thought he wasn't good enough to star for them at this stage. While some supporters are likely cursing their luck that they have a huge game on the opening day again, there is actually a level of optimism amongst some on Twitter that they can make a real statement at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea are not going to be able to negotiate for one player, who they have been linked with it seems, finishing last season with Nicholas Jackson. As the only natural striker in their squad, Chelsea are keen to bring in a new number 9 this summer. The reliable Fabrizio Romano has claimed that the Blues are about to make a decision on whether to sign Aston Villa's John Duran or not. Duran is not the only centre-forward Chelsea are said to be looking at, though, according to Give Me Sport, Artem Dovbyk is also on their shortlist after an impressive season at Girona. Duran looks to be the man who Chelsea are really focusing on at the moment. If they do not sign him for whatever reason, though, then it looks like they could turn all of their attention to someone like Dovbyk. A report from Diari de Girona recently claimed that Dovbyk has a release clause between €40 million and €50 million in his contract. The outlet claims that Girona will only sell the 26-year-old this summer if someone comes close to meeting that. Dovbyk scored 24 goals in 36 La Liga appearances last season, to help his side qualify for the Champions League, making it no surprise that they are reluctant to let him go. If Dovbyk and Duran become targets who Chelsea abandon, then they could turn to the Bundesliga to sign a striker. It has been claimed that the Blues are already in the race for Stuttgart's Serhou Guirassy. The above shows that Chelsea have options for the centre-forward position. At this point, it would be a surprise if they did not go on to sign one before the transfer window closes. Dovbyk and Guirassy are options, but again, everything is sort of pointing towards the club bringing Duran in from Villa. If new Blues head coach Enzo Maresca thought he'd get an easy introduction at Stamford Bridge, he was gravely mistaken. Chelsea kickstart next season at home to Man City on Sunday the 18th of August. The entire Premier League schedule for the next campaign has been released, which includes Chelsea's trip to Nottingham Forest on the final day next May. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has been discussing how much one player could cost Chelsea in this transfer window. Chelsea have been linked with quite a few attackers, including Crystal Palace's Michael Olise and Leeds United's Crescencio Somerville. According to Romano, the Blues are really pushing for the former at the moment. Regarding Somerville, Chelsea were thought to have been one of the frontrunners for his signature at one point. A move away from Elland Road this summer looks likely following Leeds' failure to win promotion back to the Premier League. It is quite clear that Chelsea want to bring in at least one new wide man in the transfer window. Despite being at a championship club, though, it does not look like Somerville is going to come cheap. Discussing how much he could cost this summer, Romano told Court Offside, it will be around £35 million per 40 metres. It's also going to be important, things like the payment terms, how many years to pay the fee, and all these kinds of details will be important in this negotiation. I have a sense that they hope to get close to a deal done for something around £35 million per 40 metres, so that could be the price. If Chelsea really do want to sign Summerville this summer, it will not be straightforward. The 22-year-old, who was described as an outstanding creative player by Daniel Farke last season, has also caught the attention of a couple of Chelsea's Premier League rivals. Brighton and Hove Albion have already started initial talks to sign Summerville, and Liverpool have been monitoring him in recent months, Romano has also revealed. The Dutchman scored 20 goals and provided 9 assists in 46 championship appearances last season. Still just 22, he has time to develop into an even better attacker. You can see why Premier League clubs would be interested in him. However, you would have to question whether Summerville would be an upgrade on the likes of Raheem Sterling and Mykhailo Mudryk right now. The fixture list was released on Tuesday morning, and Enzo Maresca will now have to face his former club at Stamford Bridge on the opening weekend. It certainly will not be an easy game for Chelsea. It is one where everyone will be expecting the Premier League champions to come out on top. However, one defender may be able to help the Blues to get at least a draw when they take on City on August 18. The tournament started last Friday, and it appears that Chelsea have scouts present in Germany. The Blues, of course, also have players at the European Championship. Cole Palmer, Conor Gallagher, Mykhailo Mudryk, Mark Cucurella, George Petrovic, Armando Broja, Ian Maatsen and Romelu Lukaku have all been called up by their respective countries. Lukaku had a game to forget on Monday. The striker saw 2 of his goals disallowed as Belgium went on to lose 1-0 against Slovakia in a surprise defeat. Chelsea have already signed Tosin Adarabioyo from Fulham to strengthen their defence. However, it looks like the club still want to make more additions in that area of the pitch. According to Tuttosport, Chelsea are one of Riccardo Calafiori's suitors and had scouts watch the Bologna defender in Italy's 2-1 win against Albania over the weekend. The same outlet claims that Bologna value Calafiori at €40 million, £33.7 million, which should not be too much of a problem for a rich club like Chelsea. But their report says Calafiori wants to join Juventus in a potential blow to the Blues. Juventus may not be the only team who Chelsea have to beat if they want to sign Calafiori this summer. As per Court Offside, their London rivals Tottenham Hotspur have already held initial talks over a potential deal for the 22-year-old. Calafiori can play at left back and in central defence and has just helped Bologna to qualify for the Champions League. It is easy to see the Italy international's appeal. Unfortunately for the likes of Chelsea and Tottenham, though, it looks like Calafiori would prefer a reunion with his former manager Thiago Motta at Juventus. It makes sense after what they managed to achieve at Bologna last season, but it remains to be seen whether Juventus are willing to pay the player's price tag. It has been a crucial part of the mantra ever since Todd Boehly took over as owner of the club that they would put a lot of impetus on signing some of the most promising prospects in the game ahead of their rivals. They achieved this notably with the signing of Kendry Páez, who is set to join the club next summer. He is already a regular starter for the Ecuador senior side, looking ahead to what is sure to be a huge breakout tournament at the Copa America. They were reportedly very close to announcing the signing of Brazilian defender Pedro Lima, with the intention of him to join Strasbourg with a clear path down the road to make the move to Stamford Bridge.